Why isn't Paige, probably what people think is, why isn't she as popular as Caitlyn? But do you think Paige should be more popular? And Paige deserves more, and Angel Reese deserves more, and Asia, and Fee, and.
Yeah.
I think specific to Paige, you might argue her popularity and the people that are fans of her has been underrated, which shocks me.
What happens when one of the most respected legends in WNBA history seems to question the attention surrounding Caitlyn Clark? When Sue Bird tapped into the hype around Paige Bueckers, she ignited exactly that kind of controversy. The mainstream media won't highlight this, but Clark has already proven her impact, packing arenas, shattering attendance records, and elevating the visibility and success of an entire franchise. Meanwhile, Paige hasn't yet proven herself at that level. So why does Sue Bird believe she deserves the same spotlight? Stay tuned, because the answer reveals the real driving force behind Clark's meteoric rise, and the sting of Bird's surprising betrayal. What do you think? Did Sue Bird turn her back on Clark? And who do you stand with, Paige or Caitlyn?
I can't believe that we're still doing this. Really. There is this seeming desire to be able to wish or will other players into Caitlyn Clark's level of popularity. And that is not something you can just make happen. You can't say it and make it the case.
Why would Sue Bird, one of the most influential voices in the WNBA, risk backlash from fans by suggesting that Paige Bueckers deserves more recognition? Coming from her, and in that setting, those words landed like an unexpected elbow. Bird isn't just another retired player giving opinions. She's long been regarded as the league's voice and ambassador. When she praises someone or pushes a narrative on a podcast or TV show, people listen. Her words carry the authority of someone who has represented the WNBA for decades. That's why many Caitlyn Clark supporters didn't see her remarks as harmless praise for Paige, but rather as a subtle dig at the league's brightest star.
And so clearly Paige is not as popular as Caitlyn Clark. It's not even close. And yet Sue Bird wants you to think that, no, it really is. Don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe the ratings. Don't believe the attendance.
Why would Sue Bird, one of the most influential voices in the WNBA, risk backlash from fans by suggesting that Paige Bueckers deserves more recognition? Coming from her, and in that setting, those words landed like an unexpected elbow. Bird isn't just another retired player giving opinions. She's long been regarded as the league's voice and ambassador. When she praises someone or pushes a narrative on a podcast or TV show, people listen. Her words carry the authority of someone who has represented the WNBA for decades. That's why many Caitlyn Clark supporters didn't see her remarks as harmless praise for Paige, but rather as a subtle dig at the league's brightest star.
And I think people forgot how popular and how engaging Paige is and how people are drawn to her. She should be followed and covered in a way that is similar to what we saw with Caitlyn, because that's how popular she is.
Yeah.
It's not to compare them, and it's not to diminish Caitlyn. That's not what it's about.
Right.
It's just about talking about Paige. I think it was undervalued, underrated.
I think many people have forgotten just how popular, engaging, and magnetic Paige really is. With that level of appeal, she deserves coverage and attention similar to what we've seen with Caitlyn. It's not about comparing the two or tearing Caitlyn down. That was never the point. The point was simply to highlight Paige. And in my view, that angle was overlooked. Still, the online reaction showed just how sensitive the issue is. Fans flooded comment sections, accusing Bird of not just elevating Bueckers but also trying to dim Clark's spotlight. Some defended her, saying she only meant to provide balance. But perception matters. And in this case, the optics were tough. Even some of Bird's strongest supporters admitted that, regardless of her intentions, her words came across as undermining Caitlyn. The speculation quickly spread. Was this really about Paige's talent, or was it about keeping Clark from dominating all the attention, especially given Bird's UConn ties and the league's history of favoring certain players?
That popular and you're just underrating it. It's really kind of a bizarre take. I mean, if Paige is really that popular and that engaging and people are really drawn to her, we would see with Paige what we see with Caitlyn Clark, and we don't.
Ironically, instead of closing the gap, Bird widened it by suggesting Paige deserved more attention. You can't manufacture equality in popularity, especially when one player is already headlining ESPN highlights every night while the other is still working to gain consistent mainstream coverage. In trying to spark balance, Bird inadvertently underscored just how naturally Caitlyn commands the spotlight. The result? Fans felt compelled to rally around Paige, as though she needed defending. And while Caitlyn herself never asked for this tug-of-war, Bird's comments created that tension out of thin air.
Caitlyn Clark is just exciting, guys. It's must-see TV. It's must-see TV. You plan your day around a Caitlyn Clark basketball game. You wake up in the morning, what time? You go check ESPN, what time is Caitlyn Clark playing? Oh, the game is at 7? All right, I'm planning everything around it.
In the end, the whole debate only reinforced what fans already understood instead of bringing any sense of peace. Caitlyn Clark doesn't need campaigns, adjustments, or outside validation to fuel her rise. Her ability to draw attention works precisely because it's natural, magnetic, and authentic. That's why comparisons feel so forced. Clark keeps seizing the spotlight simply by playing the game, while reporters speculate and legends weigh in from the sidelines.
Paige Beckers is not as popular as Caitlyn Clark because she's not Caitlyn Clark. It's so hard for the likes of Sue Bird to say that. It hurts them. So there's been a lot of scuttlebutt since Caitlyn Clark announced that she's done for the season. There's been a lot of talk about how Paige Beckers, it's time, Paige time. Do you guys not understand how basketball works? We're headed into the postseason. Paige's team has won 9 games all season.
How did Caitlyn Clark go from debuting in her first WNBA game to becoming the centerpiece of every sports show, without anyone needing to push it? That's exactly what frustrates her critics. Her rise doesn't feel manufactured. It wasn't a slick marketing campaign or the league trying to crown a new face. The obsession came straight from her game. Fans showed up, tuned in, and bought her jersey long before the league figured out how to keep up with the demand. The impact was immediate. Attendance didn't just grow, it exploded, with Indiana suddenly leading the league at more than 16,000 fans per game.
It wasn't manufactured. It just happened. It is what it is. I mean, she's been out for 2 months and is still the topic of discussion. Not to mention the ratings and the attendance numbers and teams moving to arenas and the Nike deal and jersey sales and all-star votes and any way these things can be measured.
Clark's impact went far beyond ticket sales. TV ratings jumped 21%, pulling in casual sports fans who hadn't paid much attention before. At this point, it's not just about watching basketball, it's about watching Caitlyn. At the same time, her jersey became one of the hottest items in the sport, with merchandise sales soaring. These are concrete, measurable results tied to a single player. Yet, despite all this, Sue Bird suggested Paige Beckers deserves equal recognition, as if minutes on the court could somehow redistribute the spotlight. But no one in recent memory has shifted every measurable metric the way Clark has, which makes that argument impossible to sustain.
Beckers isn't as good as Caitlyn Clark. Paige Beckers isn't as fun to watch as Caitlyn Clark. Her team stinks. Her team plays with zero effort. Paige Beckers plays with no motor down the stretch because you know it's going to be a close game. You know the Wings are going to lose, and you know Paige Beckers isn't going to show up every time. There was an opportunity with Caitlyn gone for Paige Beckers to take over. And what has Paige Beckers done? She had a 44-point game in a loss where she didn't shoot down the stretch.